Hello and welcome to another episode of Focus On. My name is Kiamo Mosipile. Gauteng is considered the economic mainstay of South Africa, boasting 60% in national trade and over 30% in GDP. We are at the inaugural Gauteng Investment Conference, where the ambitious target of 800 billion rand in investment has been set by the province.
Gauteng is ready to lead, ready to unlock the next era of industrial growth, ready to deliver an economy that is modern, inclusive, and unapologetically ambitious. We take this commitment because we must, as South Africa's future depends on the choices we make here in Gauteng. Gauteng accounts for a third of the country's GDP. What we do, what we build, how we grow, it matters, not just for us, but for the nation and for the continent. But let us also be clear, there can be no growth without infrastructure, no investment without power, no opportunity without connectivity. Infrastructure is not a support act, it is the main stage. It is the very spine on which economic confidence is built. That is why the city of Johannesburg has launched a bold 10-year infrastructure turnaround plan, a blueprint to reignite our economy, restore basic service delivery, and rebuild the foundations of growth from the ground up. We are directing billions of rands towards fixing what matters most: roads, water, electricity, sanitation, and stormwater systems. This is not just about repairing infrastructure. It is about restoring dignity, about building the physical and economic backbone that will turn Johannesburg into a city of opportunity, efficiency, and resilience. Because when the basics work, the economy works. And yet we are not blind to our challenges. Our cities, and Johannesburg in particular, still bear the scars of spatial inequality, decades of exclusion, of communities forced to the edges, far from jobs, transport, and the promise of progress. This is our call to action. We must build a different city, a different province, and a different future. A future where infrastructure is not only functional, but transformational. A future where we do not just patch potholes and extend cables, but rewire the entire logic of development. We are here to say the future starts now. Gauteng's metros are moving with agency, with purpose, and with coordination. We are aligning growth corridors, unlocking catalytic projects, fast-tracking approvals, and clearing every roadblock in the way of investment, whether it's logistics, energy, ICT, or housing. We are building a province that works for investors and for its people. To our partners in business, don't just invest in Gauteng, build with us. Take your place in a province that's not waiting for opportunity, but creating it. Be part of a city that is not hoping for change, but demanding it. We are not here just as thinkers, but we are here to transform.
We spoke to Saki Zamxaka, acting CEO of the Gauteng Growth and Development Agency, in support of the Office of the Premier's goals to drive infrastructure development and economic growth in Gauteng. We are at the inaugural Gauteng Investment Conference. I know that the target of 800 billion rand over the next 3 years has been set, but for this year, according to the MEC for Economic Development and Finance, Lebogang Maile, the target has been met at 312 billion rand. What are some of the key objectives you have in place from the point of the Gauteng Growth and Development Agency to leverage some of the investments and pledges that have come in today?
Well, thank you and good afternoon. As you say, for us, the idea behind this is the growth of the economy. We see these investments as catalyst to get the economy to the next level. So we now have 312 billion, and we're not stopping at it because the number we need is probably between 500 and 600 billion to get things moving. But what this 312 billion does is that it gets the next level of investment. So if you put money in bulk infrastructure, then someone else puts money on a top structure. We spoke about Soufflé, which is a French company that has come to invest here. They're doing malt for Heineken. They will need a couple of hundreds of farmers that are going to supply them. So once the factory is up and running, then they need a supply chain that's going to support them. But those farmers will need to put the malt, the barley, onto logistics, whether it's road or rail or any other form to get it to where it's going to be processed. So that's what this does. It creates the snowball effect we need for things to continue moving.
I appreciate that you've made mention of the importance of infrastructure, and while there has been inroads that are being made in terms of capital and finance, the real-time implementation of growing the Gauteng province comes down to how we move goods and how we can enable trade. What are some of the blockages or obstacles you have observed in terms of implementation from the Gauteng province?
So we've taken the view from a province point of view that we are going to start influencing some of the things that are not within our control, either than leaving it to timelines we are not monitoring. So we're working with municipalities, we're working with national government, state-owned companies and other provinces. Let's say Transnet, we just had a meeting with them, for example, during lunch, because we need the Gqeberha Gauteng line to be going, because as Richards Bay Port is getting busier and busier, there's inefficiencies and it's difficult for every piece of cargo to get in through it. So we're looking at alternatives, and those are important, for example, for the auto sector. But it will be important even for the agricultural sector, because this goes across 3 provinces, Gauteng, Free State and the Eastern Cape. So that's the coordination role that you are playing, where we're saying logistics, even those we don't have rail competence as a province, it's national, or these 2 state-owned companies, are saying even though it may be their responsibility, we can feel the pinch. The economy is bleeding 2 to 3% growth as a result of that. So we're saying we want to know their plans so that we can get the businesses and everything else we do to be in line with that planning.
And lastly, just before I let you go, what is your message to investors and other key stakeholders that are interested in investing in Gauteng?
So the main thing is we want collaborations. We are available, our offices are at 1 Senton Drive, what we call Invest SA. And we are the platform that can make it easy. If you say, I don't know which government department to go to, or I need ESCOM, but I don't know where to go, we are the go-to place to try and resolve and make that headache a bit less.
Some of the key sectors that are set to benefit from investment into Gauteng are namely agro-processing, manufacturing, information and communications technology, as well as transport and logistics. For more on this, we spoke to Huizione Mutlong, Chief Director for Sector and Industry Development at the Gauteng Department of Economic Development. I do appreciate that you found an area which needs improvement, but I want to know, in terms of the key economic drivers, what are the sectors that are doing well and driving growth in Gauteng?
About how do we expand the base for available finance or access to finance for SMEs, especially the SMEs that are in manufacturing sectors. We're also looking at clothing, leather and footwear, textile sector as one sector that we earmarking for growth. And transport and logistics, that's where basically also our main focus is on, because we know that is the backbone of the economy in this regard, and we regard that as a key enabler for growth.
And lastly, just before we wrap up, what is your message to potential investors? Why should they pledge and invest in Gauteng?
Well, Gauteng is open for business, as the MEC said. Number two is that we are not only open for business, we've got a plan. We've got an economic plan that we have drafted in terms of where we want to see ourselves within the next 5 years. As I said, that without going back and forth, the economic plan speaks about those sectors. It also states where this project is going to be allocated. So for investors, it would be easy for them. Basically, they tap into our directory and ask us where are these projects, we can then point them out. And also, even after investment, we are looking at how do we assist to make sure that we maintain these investments in the province. We just don't establish them. And part of maintenance would be constant follow-ups, would be enabling blockages around municipalities and working together with other municipalities, making sure that we get to implement them.
Stable and efficient governance cannot be understated as a key driver for delivering services, supporting economic growth, and fostering progress, not only in Gauteng, but across South Africa. 312 billion rand is the current tally in investment and pleasures set here at the Gauteng Investment Conference. From me, Gauteng Investment Conference, and the rest of the CNBC Africa team, it's goodbye for now.